A very good afternoon and welcome to this edition of VS101 Visual Radio for the Newsfirst team. I'm Keza Farooq. Now, before we take a look at your news in detail, let's take a look at your headlines.
News First headline.
In your local news, CBSL senior management to revisit recent salary revision. Free school meals for all primary students begin in Sri Lanka. Over 1.6 million children benefited. New economic reforms vital for country's economic recovery. In international news, Kyiv and Ukraine's Lviv region under Russian air attack, says officials. Finally, in sports, Verstappen retires from Australian Grand Prix. Now your news in detail. In your top local story for this afternoon, the recent salary revision for the period 2024 to 2026 made by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka post the collective agreement between the governing body and the employer representatives created much discourse among the public. In response to this situation, a majority of the senior management and professionals of CBSL made a collective decision to consider revision to their salaries. This decision was communicated to the Committee on Public Finance on the 16th of March 2024, prior to an independent of the recommendations made by the Committee on Public Finance. The Committee on Public Finance chairman has meantime recommended that the collective agreement to increase salaries of CBSL staff be reviewed by an independent committee, entailing revisions across all employee categories of CBSL. In more local news, Sri Lanka has launched a nationwide program to provide free meals to all students from grades 1 to 5. Education Minister Dr. Susi Premajayantha said the initiative aims to benefit over 1.6 million children across 9,134 government schools and small institutions with less than 100 students. The program will run from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. daily, ensuring all primary school students have access to a nutritious meal. The government has allocated 16.6 billion rupees for this initiative, with additional support potentially coming from organizations like the World Food Programme and the United States Department of Agriculture. Recognizing rising food costs, the government has increased the meal budget per student from 85 rupees to 110 rupees. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasizes the necessity of a new economic reform program for the country's economic recovery. He urges collective support from all citizens to prevent the next generation from inheriting the hardships of past economic crisis. The president reminisced about inheriting a country others were reluctant to lead, highlighting that while some focused on their political aspirations, his concerns were committed towards the welfare of the nation's future. President Ranil Wickremesinghe made these remarks while participating in a friendly discussion organized by the Youth Union on the theme Future of Our Youth in Polonnaruwa. Moving on to your international news.
International news.
Ukraine's capital Kyiv and the western region of Lviv were under Russian air attack early Sunday, officials said, and Polish forces were also placed on heightened readiness. Kyiv mayor posted on Telegram, explosions in the capital, air defense is working, do not leave shelters. Lviv regional governor said 3 districts south of city of Lviv near the Polish border was also under attack. Ukraine was earlier placed under a nationwide air alert that warned of cruise missiles being launched from Russian Tu-95MS strategic bombers. The Polish Armed Forces Operational Command said its forces were on a heightened state of readiness because of the intensive long-range aviation activity of the Russian Federation tonight and the missile attacks in Ukraine.
Sports news.
Finally, in your sports news, Formula One world champion Max Verstappen was forced to retire from the Australian Grand Prix on lap 4 on Sunday, with flames leaping out of the rear of his car from a brake problem. The Dutchman, who started on pole, was overtaken by Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz and complained he had lost the car before smoke began billowing from it. He gradually lost pace and returned to pit where crew rushed to extinguish a blaze from his right rear brake. It was Verstappen's first retirement since a race at Albert Park 2 years ago and ended his run of 9 successive race wins.
With DRS, he's almost wheel to wheel. Carlos Sainz takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, and on lap 2, where a couple of years ago he went off and his race was ended, this time around his race just being made.
It's not smoke. You know it is. That car's smoking.
Yeah.
Problem then for the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Is there something touching? Yeah.
His engine's gone. He's got a new power unit in that Red Bull for this weekend, and it looks like that new power unit is giving him all sorts of grief on the track, where in 2022...
It's the tyre, isn't it? There's something going on because the exhaust pipe's sort of in the middle, and that looks like it's coming from the... no, it is. It's a motor issue. He's still pushing on.
2022 Australian Grand Prix.
And that brings us to the end of this edition of Yes 101 Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Kenza Farouk. For more of these Visual Radio, stay tuned for News First. Thank you for watching.